Okay baby, here we are. Right, what we're going to do today is to put the top coat of lacquer on our painted tank side panels and tailpiece as well. Now again, I've got a water-based setup here which goes with the system I've been using already. It's a high gloss lacquer with a hardener. It's a 2 mix jobby. And what that requires is 2 parts of the actual lacquer, which I've got here. There's no branding on the tin because I actually get this from my paint factories which I go to, and they basically just buy in bulk and then they rebrand it to their own stuff. But because I'm a customer of theirs and I know what I'm mixing, that's how I get it like this. So that's me lacquer, and there's me hardener basically. And all I will basically do is use a measuring jug, because these are the, let's see if I don't know if you can see this. We've got these measuring jugs which you can get from any paint shop basically, and they've got their markings on there for all the different types of mixes. They've got obviously millilitres up the side. I don't know if you can see that, there's millilitres there. If you had a lacquer with a 4:1 mix, you'd use this gradient here. Can you see that? I don't think you can see that. It's got a number 4 at the bottom there, so if you was mixing up a little drop and it was a 4:1 mix, you'd go to the first line to where it says 4, and then the hardener you'd put in up to where it says 1, so it's a 4:1 mix. If you wanted more, you go to that 4 and then that one, and if you wanted even more, you go up to that 4 and that one. But I've got a 2:1 mix on mine, so again I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 different choices of 2:1 mix. Well, I only want about maybe 150 millilitres there for the moment, so I could go to this one. So I can mix up, put me actual lacquer in up to that number 2, and then top up with hardener to that 1, because that makes it a 2:1 mix. So that's what I'm going to do now. Again, I mean, don't worry if you haven't got these cups. It's very easy, because it's a 2:1 mix. You can basically pour an amount in one container twice with that, and then fill it up in one container with that just once, and that you've got the same 2:1 mix. But you must know what the mix is basically. So let's get this undone. That's the first one. This is a hardener up to the 1 mix. Here we go. Make sure that lid is on properly. Give it a little stir up. Get it all mixed up. Now again, one of the problems I'm going to be battling against here today, I don't know what this is going to turn out like. As I said to you in the previous video, spraying, you should really have a temperature not really below 21 degrees. I know if you do spray too cold, when it's too cold outside, which I have done in the past, especially when spraying a top coat, you can get like a blooming effect. It's like a frosted effect in the lacquer. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to have to spray outside. It is a bit cool outside, and as soon as I've sprayed, I'll try and bring it in or put the heat lamp on it straight away to promote the drying, and I'm hopefully that I'm going to get over it that way. If you've got a spray gun which you use for solvent based paints, you may find that it might apply the paint different than a solvent, a water based paint gun. So the setup I've got, as I said, I've got 2 DeVille Bliss SRI spray guns. One has a 0.8 needle for the base coat application, and then I've got the same gun with a 1.0 needle in it for the clear coat application. And that is my touch-up guns. They're not guns for spraying a whole car with, they're just what they call like spot repair guns. That's why it's got a small cap on it, if I show you. So as I said, this is my SRI Pro gun, which you can see there. This has got it's the same as the base coat gun I've got, which you saw me using in the previous videos, but this one's got a slightly larger needle in it, a 1mm needle as opposed to a 0.8, which gives you a larger application. And as I said, I wouldn't spray a whole car with this gun. It's only got a small cap on it anyway, and a small container. If I was using a solvent-based paint, I may use something like this, which is a slightly larger gun, as you can see. This has got a 1.3 or 1.4 needle in it, which you can, and the larger cap obviously, which you get a very much larger fan with this. So if you're doing panels of cars, for example, you'll see that this is a lot wider, and you'll get more coverage. Now this gun I will actually use when spraying cars, and you'll probably see in the Mazda videos I'll probably be using this gun, so you'll probably see this gun in action as well. But anyway, let's get this gun filled up now, and we'll start applying our top coat to our panels. Now again, you can see that there's no fancy spray booth here. Sometimes you've got to make do with what you've got, and all I've got here is 2 deck chairs with a piece of wood between it, and the pipe is actually, the tank is actually laying on top of that. And my paint table is just an old table we had in the garden, which basically keeps the things in one area and off the ground, so I can actually get a good spray paint on them. So that's my spray area, and while the weather is mild out, I can take advantage of this being outside. The only problem we got, as we know, is that there's loads of trees about and you get a lot of bugs flying about, so unfortunately that's what we're dealing with. So what I'm going to do now is I've gone over with a wax and grease remover over all these parts, and I'm now just going to go over with a tack rag before we actually put the final coat on. You'll be surprised how much this tack rag actually picks up, because after I've wiped down with that, the wax and grease remover, you'd think that would be it, but there's still stuff coming off there, believe it or not, little bits of dust which I missed. There we go. Okay, I don't know if you can see there, that's the first coat gone on. Don't worry too much about it being excellent coverage. All we're looking at there is getting the first coat on so that the rest will stick on and apply to it. Well, I've done these other bits as well. These have got a thin coat on as well. You probably can't see that, but one coat is all you need, a thin coat. You're not looking for a wet coat at all, and that's where we're at the moment. So I'm going to let that flash off under the heat lamp, and then we'll come back to that. And sure as damn it, you've got things floating about already, flies and stuff, so I'm going to have to be very careful here. Yet again, I've got a fly in my first top coat. So what I'm going to have to do now is to let this go hard so that I can actually rub that down. There's nothing else I can do now. If I spray over that now, I will not be able to rub that fly out in the future when I spray the other 2 coats on, because it'll be well below the surface. So I've got no option now than just to let that go hard, and what I'm going to do now is just spray the other bits, and I'll have to come back to this at a later date once I've rubbed that fly out. Take you over and have a look at that. And as you can see, the sheen is now starting to appear. Lovely flat coats. Don't worry about the orange peel, there's a bit of orange peel in there. That will be removed when we do the colour sand and buffing. But as you can see, 2 coats is definitely taken lovely now. And it's just a shame that I can't actually finish the tank at this moment in time. But there you go, that's what happens. So now I've just put the heat lamp now, I've taken the tank and put it inside out of the way. And I've just put the heat lamp on these 3 items now just to let this flash off for 10 minutes, what the manufacturer say for this type of paint, and then I'll go in with a third and final coat. Time for a cup of tea. Anyway, it's amazing how, as I say, this is the first time I've ever sprayed with metallics. When you see it in the base coat phase of the spray job, you've got no understanding of how the top coat's going to go on when you put the clear coat on. The clear coat really makes it pop and come to life. Come here, Barney, up. You can't see, Barney, come on up. No, that's Barney sitting down here anyway. But even though I'm sitting outside and it's not an ideal condition to be spraying it, obviously there's bugs, I've had wasps and things floating about behind me. You're still doing your own thing at home, that's what it's all about. I've got another place over there which is undercover, which is where my jacuzzi is, my hot tub, but I've got loads of stuff in there at the moment, and I didn't really want to go in there and spray. And also through the back there, let me just show you, hold on, let me show you. Just take the camera off. Take the camera off. No, I'll leave that there for a minute. So what we've also got is I've got this area here, which is my hot tub area, which I could have actually sprayed in there. That's an enclosed area, but again that needs a good clear out at the moment. When I was setting this project up, what you see here, I've basically just dumped a load of stuff in there. We can't get to the hot tub, there's loads of stuff in there. But what I've also got is as I say, there's 2 log cabins there back to back. So if we just walk down here, down the pathway, we'll go to the back of the log cabins, and you won't be able to see it, but this is actually a second log cabin, which, let me open the door, take the key out. I'm lucky enough to have enough space to be able to have this sort of thing, you know. Right, so we're in the second log cabin now. There's another one yet still to be restored. If I cut a doorway in the end under that picture, that will take me directly into my first log cabin. So this one at the moment is just basically storage. There's another bike there ready to go out. Well, I say ready to go out, I did start stripping that down before I started on this project, but that was my own personal bike. I haven't done anything with, but I may just put that back together now, clean a few parts up and put that out on eBay. I'm not too sure yet. I doubt if I'll ever ride it, so there's nothing wrong with it. But this one, as I said, this is going to be the next project. This has got an old homemade exhaust on it. It's a bit battered and bit battered, this one. I mean, this one's not in very good condition at all. The tank's got loads of dents on it around here. This will be another one. It runs, it's a runner, it goes. Very untidy. The graphics are okay. I could possibly get away with using them just like I did on the first one. I know they're a bit faded in places, but I can mask, rather than spend £55 out or whatever to buy a new graphics set for this. All I do is I'll mask it up and just work around them, so to speak. But you'll see this one on another project. As I say, it's an old rusty exhaust on there, but this does run, it does go, and that is going to be another project. I bought this one for I think it was £265 I bought this one for. So again, looking at standard bikes, it's all there. It does need refurbishment, only basic refurbishment, but you know, cleaning up and tidying up and cosmetics done, which we're doing at the moment, you know. Let's have a look at these clocks on this one actually. Again, faded, all very faded. They're all there, but they're all just very faded. The forks I'll probably take off again, and you know what we're going to do to them. We'll rub soda blast them and paint them with enamel paint. But everything else is there, apart from the exhaust, as I say. That'll all clean up nicely. I may have to get another seat for this one, because this seat for some reason is curling up at the front there. I don't really want to have to reseat it. I don't know, there must be something wrong there. It might not be fitted properly, I don't know. I've not had a look at it yet. But that's the other project, you'll see that. But as far as I'm concerned, if I did eventually knock a hole through there, I mean, I could spray in here. This could be an enclosed spray area, basically. Get some lights in here, get some extract fan bolted in, so that I'll take the fumes out and put one coming in, so I've got fresh air coming in, and I think this will make a good little spray area. So this is for another video somewhere further down the line. From the first go with metallics, I'm well pleased with that finish, I tell you. So if I can do it, you can do it. Well, this is your basic working week. All right, you haven't got the stability and the safeness of a regular wage, so to speak. But don't forget, this is just one of the projects I work on. I work on different things, different avenues, using the internet as a tool to get my name or brand or project or product out there. This, what I'm showing you, is realistically how you can actually start. If you've got a bit of spare space in your garage or shed or whatever, or if you've got a garden and you can put a shed up, it hasn't got to be nothing as elaborate as the one I'm sitting in here. Just, you can have a single shed which you can wheel something in and out. A lot of this stuff can be done in a little room, for example. Like when you take pieces off and refurbish them, you could sit them down on your kitchen table and refurbish them. Alright, I know I'm painting the big stuff, which is like petrol tanks and stuff like that. But even if you can buy these cheap gazebos, for example, you can get them on eBay for about 50 quid. And in there, at least you've got some sort of controlled environment. I know you've got temperature to deal with, but you can get over the temperature situation with regards to having a heat lamp. Or not so much blowers. Blowers can tend to stir up dirt and dust, so it's best to have some sort of infrared heat source, which like gives you a ray rather than you pushing out like a convection heater. Type thing where air is pushed out through a fan or a blower. You don't really want that because it stirs up all the dust. So there are ways over a problem. If you're interested in doing this in your spare time, if you go to work Monday to Friday, for example, and you come home in the evening and the wife's watching soap operas or whatever, and you want to go outside for an hour or two. I mean, I've been out here literally today for about hour and a half maybe. I've not been working hard, but I've just been slowly, methodically going through a situation to get to an end result, and I've done that for you so that you can see actually what I do. So this can start off as something that's part-time, and then suddenly people around where you live, for example, will suddenly find out that you do this sort of stuff. You see the sort of finish that you're getting with little knowledge and experience but knowing how to apply it, and before you know it, people will start coming to you for their little problems, little paint touch-ups, or can you repaint this for me, and before you know it, you're actually earning money. And then only that, you using techniques and tricks which you'll see further down the line in the video set of how to source products, stuff which needs possibly a repaint or it's got a few dents and it looks unattractive. These are the sort of things where you, with these skills, can capitalise on and actually make an income. And that can start off small, it can be done in your spare time, you can build it up and basically then start to generate more and more money and then start scaling your business up. Get a workshop like I've got here, for example. The next stage for me to get up would be, if I was bringing in lots of big stuff, vehicles for example, would be to hire out a lockup, or I've got friends who have got lockups which I would rent off of them, for example. But this is what you can do. But start small, get the basic kit, get the basic knowledge, watch through the videos, find the mistakes I make, see how I'm making my mistakes, which I'm showing you, because you're going to come up against these sort of things. It's not the sort of videos where you see a perfect job with a professional doing it. You're watching someone like yourself doing it, overcoming problems. The only thing I've got is the gift of common sense. So when I do come up against a problem, rather than give up and give it to someone else to do, find out using the internet and having the intelligence to know that you've got to overcome the problem and deal with it that way. Anyway, I'm going to have my tea for now. Sharon's going to be home shortly. We're going out for a meal, for lunch. So I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to come back and assess the situation with the tank, see if it's dry enough for me to slightly rub down, and then we'll carry on and get the tank sprayed so that we can apply the decals. Cheers.